Friends, welcome back to Podcast with Solitude. It's me, Colm, here with my good two friends, Jordan and Sam, and tonight, on this fine Sunday evening, we're talking episode 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, streaming on Disney+. It's going to be divided up into two parts, spoiler-free territory and spoiler territory, and the spoiler territory is probably going to be far longer than spoiler-free. Yeah, we'll just go straight in, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and whether it's worth watching, which it is. You should watch it. So, yeah. Hey Sam.
Hey. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Back as usual. Talking our usual weekly stuff. So anyway, I like the episodes.
Me too.
It's really building up the climax.
Yeah, it was better than the first episode anyway.
Yeah, the first episode is mainly setup. So
Yeah.
we got to see the setup of Bucky and the setup of Falcon. Now we're kind of seeing them working together or not working together. That means pretty good. I like their dynamic.
Yeah.
Yep. They are
Some good,
really good chemistry.
Yeah.
They do. And not just, this early on spoil anything, but I do hope at the same time they move away from that constant bickering that we saw in the trailers.
You don't want the buddy cop comedy?
No, I don't. We got it in Civil War, and now they're past that, and just it's fine. Bucky's upset about a few things that we'll get to, and Falcon's as stubborn as ever. But it's kind of just like, all right, we get it. Get over things. There are bigger problems at risk than.
I feel like we're going to see more of them working together and not necessarily getting along than definitely getting along and also working together. Just kind of saying, yeah, we got to do this. Let's just get it done.
Yeah, I'll be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like the second scene where in the plane, where they're not wearing their costumes and they have that conversation and actually kind of put their heads together a little bit.
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff I want to see. What I don't want is us to be halfway through this season and for them just to be like, well, you shouldn't have done this. Well, I'm from the 1940s. Well, your methods are outdated. Like, I don't know. I feel like we have to move past that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I want to address this, but is there any real explanation of why Bucky didn't age in all those years? Is it just because super soldier serum means you don't really age?
I had this exact conversation with my girlfriend when I was watching it.
It's interesting. I've never really thought about it, just because it all.
Yeah. See, I didn't take issue with it, but she did. But the way I always saw it was that he didn't age between Captain America 1 and Captain America 2 because he was frozen in ice almost immediately after they got him, after falling off that train in the first adventure, and then they just defrosted him for like a week at a time to just go and clap somebody, and then they just put him back on ice again. And apart from that, he hasn't. Yes, huh?
No, go ahead, finish your point.
Okay, so thanks. No, and even since then, since Winter Soldier, when he's been out and about, he hasn't spent a ton of time actually aging, because he spends a couple of years between Winter Soldier and Civil War doing things, getting framed for murders and whatnot. But then he gets frozen again in Wakanda, and then he gets unfrozen at some point, and he's going through his rehabilitation or whatever. But after that, he gets snapped away for 5 years. So all in all, he's only had aged 3 years or so since falling off that train. Maybe a bit more. But at the same time, if anything, I think he should look a bit younger than he does, compared to when we saw him in the 1940s.
Yeah.
I guess you put it down to the stress, but that's how I see it.
Well, he did get reduced to atoms, so I can't imagine that does anything for your action.
Yeah, no, that is true.
No, so what happens in the comics is what the Russians did, which in the cinematic universe it was Hydra. They would basically just refreeze him in these cryogen stasis fancy science words. And from what I remember, that's pretty much the same thing as Hydra did. Because if you remember in Civil War at the end, when there's like 4 other super soldiers that Zemo supposedly wanted to, I don't know, use, but then didn't. They were all frozen in these stasis chambers as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's how he didn't
right.
age through those 70 to 80 years.
I mean, I'm sure the serum also contributes to that. If it's just making your whole immune system stronger.
Well, in the comics it does, but in this I question it because Captain America went off. The first Captain America, Stephen Rogers, he went off into an alternate reality and lived his life with Peggy Carter, and then came back as an old man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and in my head, I was thinking he went back, and Steve. No, you're right. I was thinking Steve before he got the serum ended up living that life, but no.
No,
I wasn't. Yeah, you're right.
And I think, I mean, you could chalk it up to it. You know what Marvel could do at the same time is just say, oh well, whatever. He actually spent 200 years and then went back in time to give Sam the shield, which is viable. We don't know what he did. But I think they're just gonna brush it off as whatever. I think it's a don't think about it point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Spent like 7 minutes talking about how old Bucky looks. It's a great start.
It's a good conversation. It's interesting.
It is.
Point.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking that we had a conscious conversation. Geez, we have to make these episodes a hell of a lot shorter. And we're sitting here still thinking like, but Bucky should be more wrinkles.
You know what? if I was listening to this podcast, I'd be thinking, these guys are making good points. I remember that 7 minutes of detail.
I'd have turned it off long ago.
Shh. We want to keep listeners. We want to keep listeners. Right.
Yeah, I know.
Where to begin then? I think. Okay, so I'm thinking of where to begin without addressing spoilers because I'm thinking a lot of spoiler stuff at the moment.
Well, in the last episode we saw there's a new Captain America, so we could talk about him since he kind of bookends the episode. He's
are we gonna say his name or?
Is his
Captain
name
America?
a spoiler in any way?
I don't think so.
Oh really? Okay, yeah, it's not. It's from the comics, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan's theory on. Yeah, Jordan's theory proved to be correct.
Oh, what was my theory? Oh, that was U.S. agent.
Say John Walker, like last week.
Oh yeah, John Walker. It's John Walker. Yeah, he's a version of U.S. agent. Apparently doesn't have any superpowers. They just say that
he's
like
very good.
He's got guts.
He's just got guts.
He's got guts.
All it takes.
Yeah.
Also, pretty good with the shield.
This is another thing. I'm spending a lot of time doing the talk in this episode, but back in the comics, before Falcon became Captain America, right? It was canon that only 3 people in the Marvel universe could catch the shield. The 3 humans, right? Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes, and Hawkeye. Shield agents were trained to try and catch it, but they all just ended up breaking their arms or getting arms just severed.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah, it's a magic vibranium shield. But this guy's just like
darn heavy.
This guy's just some special operations guy, which, you know, those are some of the toughest guys on the planet. But compared to Captain America, and he's just banging that thing about as fast as anyone, like in his backyard.
It's interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in the comics, it makes sense that as well, and it should here in this unit as well, considering like this isn't just a shield someone just made in their backyard, because it's not adamantium, it's vibranium, isn't it? That shit's strong,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2 things that could be going on as well. Either that isn't the original Captain America shield, like we addressed last week, or like the government do have the actual one, so maybe they've just given him the wrong one. Or he could also be taking serum in the background. We don't know. Maybe he's doing it in like small doses or something, and that's going to be something that's revealed.
Maybe he's just a liar.
Maybe he is. Yeah.
And he just has the super soldier serum.
Yeah, maybe he's part of the Red Hand gang, but I can't remember the name.
Flag Smashers.
Flag Smashers. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of intrigue with them too this episode. Not a whole lot, but we get they kind of try to empathize us with that cell of people.
I feel like we are gonna start approaching spoiler territory soon. We'll just have far more.
Do we just want to give the spoiler warning now? Just get out of the way.
I mean, okay, it's a good episode. There's a lot more character development. You get to see Bucky and Falcon do stuff together and fight together. So it's a fun watch. There's a lot of good reveals in it, which we will talk about now, entering spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So the first thing to address is the fact that all these guys in the Flag Smashers are super soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is,
I'm a little disappointed with that reveal.
Yeah, same.
Because that's kind of a very cliched thing to do.
Yeah, I also feel like it's going
to do something else. But
I also feel like it's going to dampen the impact Zemo's going to have as the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting in one sense, but I think that it would have been much more interesting to go down the line of these guys don't have superpowers, but in the process of the show, they come close to like toppling a government. I feel like that's something that would be a much more interesting avenue to actually look down, because it's like horror movies. The more realistic it is, the more scary I find them. But then when you take something like It, for example, it's like nothing in that scares you, because you can get like startled when loud noises and flashy clowns happen, but at the same time, it's like, oh well, none of this is real. None of this could happen.
Yeah, it's also always the ambiguity of horror movies. Like whenever it finishes and you don't actually know all the details, and you think, what, like, why are they like? You just start like taking in your heads like all the possible scary stuff that could imply.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, just even from the angle that the more realistic it is, and the more normal you make these people, and the more damage they do, the more interesting it is to be like, wow, I wonder how far somebody with that mentality could get.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I concur.
Because whenever you have everyone kind of in the same boat, it kind of defeats the point of one person with all this power, and it just gets in their head. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I think too there was a text message or a phone call or something in this episode, and I remember I did a quick Google search. But the power broker is mentioned at one point.
Yeah.
And I mixed him up at first with the DC Comics villain, the Broker, who in the DC Comics sells all the villains their hideouts at like reduced rates, which is hilarious.
Really?
Yeah,
I love that.
Like, where do you think Joker bought an amusement park from? There's this guy named the Broker.
You serious? I need to look into that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
This guy in the Marvel universe called the Power Broker. He gives people powers, and then he expects them to like carry out tasks for him. Sometimes it's like an organization and not a person. So I think maybe he's adapted the super soldier serum, and maybe these guys owed him something, and then they just dipped over between one thing or another, and now they're on the run from him.
Yeah. Plot twist, it's Mr. Blue from The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, plot twist. It's John Krasinski.
But that's the other thing. I don't want it to be kind of like a brush off where you find out there's this one guy and he just has a serum, because it's such a big thing, like perfecting the serum. Like the fact that it failed with The Incredible Hulk. It's pretty rare that master it. I think it'd be better as an organization, I guess, but we'll see.
Yeah, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, I think really it's going to be a case of execution over anything else at this stage. I think they could do anything with it, but I think really the journey of these Flag Smasher people, for better or worse, is going to be really where the meat's at.
I wonder. Yeah, I'm curious to see whether we're going to see much in-depth characters with the Flag Smashers, because they seem to be kind of showing more of a couple than others.
Yeah, there's the ginger girl, and then there's interchangeable people.
Yeah.
Which I'd like to note something on the ginger girl.
Uh-huh.
So, do you remember when we talked about the first episode, how I went on like a whole crazy conspiracy theory about how I reckon Red Skull's daughter might show up?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the comics, Sin, which is the name of Red Skull's daughter,
Mhm.
has red hair and has a British accent
Oh,
and freckles.
wait a minute.
Ooh.
There's a girl
serious?
with British hair and a red accent. That way.
British hair.
British hair and red accent.
Red hair and a British accent and freckles in
Red
this
accent.
TV show, Sam.
I'm just
Ooh.
saying.
Huh.
I think this podcast needs to be framed. I think we've just cracked the show. That's cool.
Disney should hire us writers, is what this means.
I think so.
Yeah.
Give me $500,000 a day and I'll do it, Disney.
Also, British, really? I mean, he is a Nazi.
Yeah, but so they hid her away at a British nunnery, so that allies or whatever couldn't find her, which is why she has a British accent.
Yeah.
She was like 6 years old when I did it, so it makes sense.
Oh, let's go. I feel like we'll get to see flashbacks of a story if they are going to go that direction. Then
I hope so. That'd be
yeah.
No, they could just, they could do, Sam, is they could just cut out the flashbacks from the TV show Hunters, where we got flashbacks to the nunnery and one of the girls was in a nunnery.
Please don't.
That's a bad show. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. Don't watch Hunters.
No, don't. It's really bad.
It's not good. No.
It's 13 episodes of Al Pacino going, I'm a Jew, and then the writers trying to make the Nazis out to be worse than they were, keeping in mind the Nazis were the worst people ever.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, trying to do redemption arcs for them.
Yeah, they try to do redemption arcs.
Really?
It's not good.
I did it because my father beat me. All right, you still shot that Jew because he sang a note out of key. Like, okay, buddy.
Yeah. To anyone that hasn't seen the show, Jordan is not making this up. This happens.
No, this happens in the second episode.
Yeah, like this happens.
It's incredible. It's actually incredible.
Anyway,
it's
we're getting off topic. I don't want to talk about Hunters, please.
Back to a better show.
Yeah.
I'm
down for flashbacks.
Yeah, I'm down for flashbacks.
What do you think? So, into spoiler territory now. What do you think of the new Captain America and Battlestar?
Is Battlestar the sidekick?
It's Battlestar. Yeah, it's Battlestar.
I was wondering why you were just Battlestar is a sidekick.
Okay. I mean, Battlestar haven't done much yet, but
no, he showed up in the truck and got kicked off.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. New Captain America. He seems like a genuine guy, but no one else seems to think so.
I felt legitimate hatred when he showed up on top of the truck, and then they played like Steve Rogers' Captain America theme.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was crossing the line. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
No good.
No, I think he's good. I think there could be. I'm really excited to see what else they do with him.
Same. He's a good actor. He has that kind of patriarchal stance about him. Kind of like Wonder from The Voice.
You can see this guy as a soldier. Yeah.
Oh, you can.
Which is funny because I only know this actor from one other media, which is 22 Jump Street. And I don't know if either of you have seen the movie. It's very good. I can say that. But in it, he plays a character that is a frat boy who has maybe 4 IQ, if we're being generous. And every time I saw him here in Falcon Winter Soldier, I just kept being reminded of that guy. I was just like, what if that's who he was in college, then he went and joined the army? This is canon now. I don't care.
The thing is, you don't need a great like if you join the Navy SEALs or whatever, like you need a massively exact words, Jordan. Like, you need to have a pretty high IQ to join, like, someone like the Navy SEALs. But if you join, like, I don't know, the Green Berets or the Rangers or whatever, it's a much lower bar. They're still like, you know, the cream of the crop, but at the same time, they don't have like what is it, like a 92% failure rate like the Navy SEALs do.
Yeah.
So it's possible that guy just left college, joined infantry, shot mortars at Syrian farmers for a while, and then worked his way up to special forces. And now he's Captain America. You know.
Yeah. I'm also interested as the whole application process to Captain America. Did they just look at this one guy and just say he has a lot of medals? Let's pick him. Or were there other people that applied to this and they were like, "Damn, didn't get it."
Yeah, like did they go off the fact that he was? What did she say? He was the only combatant to receive like 5 medals of honor or something like that.
Yeah.
The thing
is that a solid criteria to be Captain America? Because
the thing is, you could be a medic and get medals of honor just under the right circumstances. So you know, all right, Captain America works in this hospital now.
I was watching Jeremy Johns' thoughts on this episode, and he was saying, oh, and then if John Walker does end up taking the super soldier serum, it's meant to be the whole thing where good becomes great, bad becomes worse. Well, what is this guy?
Yeah.
I definitely think that's gonna either happen or it's gonna be revealed that he's been taking the super soldier serum. Maybe that's what intrigues him.
Yeah, and I think the way I'm thinking is he could be taking it in like small doses, so it doesn't give. So maybe it's more of a gradual thing. So like that's why he can use the shield at the moment. But
oh yeah, compared
maybe he can't run fast and stuff. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, compared to the flag crushers that are just snorting that stuff all day, probably.
Yeah. Because also, in fairness, he was putting up a pretty good fight with those guys. I mean,
to an extent, this is the problem too, where the fallacy of like superhero powers come in. This guy is a really well trained combatant or whatever, and he's got the advantage of a magic metal shield. But at the same time, he held his own for like a minute. He just pulled his gun and shot one of them, but after that, he was really just like fighting to keep on his feet.
Yeah.
But I really would have liked if they stick to the narrative of he has no superpowers. I think my favorite, like the best thing that could have happened in this episode was he gets in a fight. Yeah, like one of them just dislocates both of his arms because he's just a guy, and then he gets kicked off, and the car runs over him. Like, I think that is the best way. Because he's just a guy. You know,
that would have been amazing. Every episode, we get a new Captain America.
Yeah, the government are just like, does anyone else have medals?
Well, this guy has 4 medals. He's next on the list. Give him 2 guns.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Imagine every time they give the shield back to Falcon and go, all right, well, this is your chance to take it back. If you don't want it, we're giving it to another guy.
Falcon's just like, I feel like it belongs to someone else. Just pick up a random guy off the street.
You're 6'4" and blonde. You'll do.
Yeah. I feel like the next spoiler to talk about, which is quite important, is the fact that there's another Captain America guy out there who we just haven't known about. Black guy.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they do more with that, or if that was just more like a one-off.
It's like the thing. It's like a scenario where this is how it could have gone wrong for Steve, I guess.
Yeah, because you wonder too, like, are they trying to make it a race thing where, the U.S. Army threw him in jail and did experiments on him or whatever? But you wonder too, would they have done that to Steve Rogers? Yeah. Because without Tommy Lee Jones interfering, he was just going to be on a stage for the war.
That's what I was thinking. I feel like the race thing was definitely where it was implied in that episode, but I mean, Steve pretty much had the perfect outcome of what he could have been because he got frozen. He probably just what you say about the war, we didn't get to see how it would have turned out if he won, and then what the government would have probably been like, "You're still our property, come with us," or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting.
It's very interesting, and you wonder too how many more are out there. Like, how many times did the government just reel somebody with a super soldier serum and be like, "All right, go fight Russians or go fight Koreans"?
There's a bunch of conspiracies that the Germans did that in World War II.
Like in real life?
In real life,
the Russians too.
The Russians. Yeah, in real life, they experimented with super strength enhancements, or whatever the drugs they used were. But yeah, super soldiers. It's interesting. So I hope we get more of that guy, and I feel like he seems kind of like a last resort kind of person. So maybe we'll get to see him more towards the end of the season.
I have a slight theory that maybe we might not necessarily see him, but we might see like his son, and that they could maybe go something with like, the super soldier serum
can be inherited.
Yes, can be inherited.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be interesting.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Sam.
Oh no.
No, but in the comics, that kid, the guy that opens the door, he takes on the mantle of Patriot, I think. And it's a similar backstory where the Isaiah guy, he passed down his genes to this guy who is his grandson. He looks the age to be a grandson.
You're right. Patriot, he's one of the young Avengers.
He is, yeah. He's the
in
America. So, we could see that, or it could be just laying the groundwork for 10 years from now when they don't have Sebastian Stan and Benedict Cumberbatch to carry the Marvel Universe on.
You think Sebastian Stan's carrying the Marvel Universe?
No, I realized nobody in this show is, and I had to halfway through change my sentence to somebody that's going to be like a main fly character for the films going forward. I mean, it was like Doctor Strange and Brie Larson.
And you didn't think of Spider-Man?
Well, also
Spider-Man.
It's hard to tell what'll happen with Tom Holland.
If Sony tries to pull a card of what's taking Spider-Man back, Disney's just going to buy Sony. Let's be honest.
They've been holding back. 100%.
The Chad move that would be.
Like your PS6s, 7s, they'll just say Disney on them.
Anyways,
they did with Fox.
They did. Sell us the X-Men. No. All right. Well, we tried to play nice. Yeah. No.
Yeah. They talk about. I was just going to mention the whole subject on race with those few minutes as well, with the police nearly arresting Sam afterwards and stuff. I feel like that was good on Marvel. Like, it was good on Marvel for addressing those points. It's quite cool. Like, it's pretty well executed.
They kind of addressed it in the first episode as well with the bank scene as well, with him not being able to take out a loan and stuff. So
sure, yeah.
You might see more of that. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it's something I don't often like to see in shows, because it's very often they just beat you over the head with it when I watch these things for like escapism and whatnot. But I the way it went down in this was quite realistic, in fairness.
That's what I'm saying. It's the execution is like really good on Marvel for doing that.
Yeah.
It's not like they're not touching on that at all with like different racial superhero stereotypes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Because they've taught, like, they might as well, because they've done like government property superheroes and stuff. So it's kind of widening the possibilities of superheroes being in real life, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Civil War and Winter Soldier both do a great job of that. I think.
You can rewatch Winter Soldier actually, because
you should.
Like, it's especially with Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's maybe it's the same kind of tone.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this: what do you think Zemo, his role is going to be? Because they teased him at the end.
Don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
I mean, yeah, we've seen from some of the promotional stuff. He definitely gets out because he gets the purple balaclava.
Yeah. the mask.
Yeah. So I
feel
don't
like-
know. It's hard to say at the moment.
Do you think he'll help them, or do you think they'll let him free and then he'll just do something? Both.
I don't think they're going to.
I don't think
they'll
they'll
let him free.
Yeah.
No, I think the person at the bottom of the food chain that can't, like, the lowest on the ladder of authority that can let him free is probably the new Captain America, and he did basically tell him to get stuffed after Bucky and Falcon were like, "Yeah, we're not working with you."
They're probably going to
Yeah.
question him on super soldier serum stuff. I'm guessing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's they pretty much say
that's-
that's what they're going to do. So
Yeah. That was the ending of the
Then-
episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then he's probably going to say, "Oh yeah, I have all these other super soldiers like stashed away in a location that only I know of," or something.
I doubt he'll be that involved, considering Civil War. He'll probably have an inclination.
I hope they don't do something like, oh, he's behind the flag smashers.
No, that's
That
Oh,
would
I hope
be-
not. Yeah, no, that'd be
yeah.
such a lazy execution.
Yeah.
No, I've noticed about these Netflix shows is that
Netflix.
the other one, the
Disney.
one,
Us.
Disney Netflix, right?
Disney Flex.
The
Disney
thing,
Flex.
the thing we're getting now is that in the movies they've been very reluctant to give a lot of characters comic book outfits. Like before, Scarlet Witch always just wore a jacket. At the end of the show, she had the actual like Scarlet Witch outfit, and then Falcon just always had like a grey jetpack with the wings. But now it's taken his own TV show to actually give him the white and red, which looks way better.
Yep.
And even if it is a bit dumb. And then Baron Zemo, he was just some dude in Civil War, but now they've given him like the trench coat and the mask, which we're yet to see. But they're actually leaning into it.
You see it in every promotional teaser that
You
plays
do.
for every video on YouTube.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I think that's good. I think it's good as well because it wouldn't have been as impactful if they would have just introduced them in those outfits to begin with, and then maybe had them lose the outfits as it goes on. Like it kind of illustrates the fact that the outfits don't really define the characters as well. Like over analysis, but
I kind of think since like Civil War, Falcon probably should have been in the white and red outfit.
Yeah.
But then I am a moron, so
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Have we got anything else to touch upon, or do we want to move on? I know, Colm, you wanted to talk about WandaVision that you're all.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about WandaVision because I'm pretty late to the party, but I haven't finished as of this week, so we'll probably touch on that soon.
I
that
can't
seems
really
pretty
think
good.
of anything else
Yeah,
I have
same.
to say on this
We've
episode.
touched on
It was good.
the topics. I mean, it's only a one episode type deal, so we'll have way more to talk about in the next few weeks. But yeah, again, it seems pretty promising. Three of us are gonna hold on, keep watching it, see where it goes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. We're gonna move on to WandaVision then.
Full
Enjoyed it.
spoiler talk as well.
Yeah,
reckon,
full
yeah.
spoiler talk. Disclaimer.
Look,
read the terms and conditions.
Yeah, but also if you haven't seen WandaVision at this stage, you don't care. It's fine,
Yeah.
realistically. But anyways,
Yeah.
so Colin,
really-
what do you think? You're fresh off the bat. How do you find it?
I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a really fun show. There's a few, like from a critic point of view, there's like a few things that I would say, especially with the finale, it was kind of rushed in a way, and there was a lot of just action thrown in. My favorite part about it was all the twists and the way there's all the the deeper meaning of it all was kind of cool. The fact they were like trapped inside this bubble and stuff. And then there's like all the different things it could be. Like, is it a dimension thing? Is it like, are we going to start seeing other characters from other dimensions and like bringing Quicksilver? We're going to see Spider-Verse people come in and stuff like that. I don't know, but it just the whole ambiguity of it all. It just had me hooked.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely the first couple of episodes were slow going in, but it was entertaining just because you knew nothing was right, and it's characters you're familiar with, and they're not acting the way they usually act. It's just really good fun, and I just the whole nostalgia and pop culture references and everything was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed the theme songs, and I really enjoyed the Office references.
I think that was
Like,
more Modern
the
Family than Office, that episode you're talking about. But yeah, they're both very similar.
this theme song was definitely Office.
I can't
The
remember.
theme song was like so Office. The actual camera thing is probably more Modern Family, but no,
Okay.
there was a Modern Family episode as well, Sam. That was like that was the one before.
Oh,
One
he's
before.
Yeah. So there was the Modern
I'm
Family
talking
was
about the one where Wanda's like depressed, sitting in her, not leaving in her sweatpants. Not leaving the house in her sweatpants all day.
Oh yeah.
Because that one felt more Modern Family. Now I haven't seen a lot of Modern Family. I've seen
Yeah.
like the first 2 episodes, but that gave me a lot of vibes from that show.
Yeah, same. I think
Well, I
theme
think
song was Office. I think it was
I
more
think
it was more decade than specific shows.
no, it was specific shows because they showed them all in the flashback episode where Wanda like has a mind trip through Sokovia or whatever.
Yeah.
They literally show every single show it's based on up until that point. She has the
Okay.
box sets of all of them, and then
Van Dyke.
Van Dyke and
Yeah.
Bewitched, and then she's watching kind of in that Civil War setting. She's sitting down, and Vision comes in, and she's watching the one with what's his face, Bryan Cranston. What's that one? Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. Malcolm Middle.
Yeah, she's watching that one, and then I think is there a Modern Family reference after that?
No, I think
don't know.
I'm
I can't
gonna look
remember.
it up because I'm actually curious
But-
now. I got Modern Family vibes as well, but I got Office from the theme song.
I think I've seen a single one of the sitcoms.
Well,
she referenced in that show.
I've seen
yeah.
a bunch of Malcolm in the Middle, and in Malcolm in the Middle, there's like parts of where the main character Malcolm talks to the camera, but it's not in like the documentary style that The Office, Modern Family, or Parks and Recreation do it.
Yeah,
It's more like
I just looked it up. The theme song was based on The Office, and the show was based on Modern Family.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a mix of everything really. The Twilight Zone one, that was really obviously Twilight Zone, where the beekeeper came at the end as well. Everything.
Yeah.
Then Full
One thing-
House was obviously Full House.
There's one thing I didn't like. Well, two things I didn't really like about this show. The biggest problem for me was that every episode they set up, something was wrong. Like in the first episode, it's your man choking and wife's acting strange, and then in the second episode, I'm really here now. In the second episode, what do you call it? What happened? Oh, the beekeeper came out, and there was the radio,
Yep.
the toy robot that was actually a UAV.
Yeah, the plane.
The plane, and then obviously the biggest one probably was the episode that ended with Evan Peters showing up, presumably as Quicksilver.
Yep.
But every episode then following, they just move on. They don't actually deal with any of the plot twists until like they deal with the first half of them in episode 4, where they just reveal everything up until that point, and then it's the same story with every twist in the second half. They don't actually. There's no gradual reveals. It's suspense upon suspense, and they don't deal with it on a week-to-week basis. They just kind of throw it all at you at the end in the last like 2 episodes. And that was one thing. It was kind of like, if you're gonna drag us out week to week, which I'm fine with. I don't particularly care.
Have more episodes.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for the binging format, but it's like, if you're gonna try to keep us week to week, probably deal with the things that happened 7 days ago.
I'm with you on it, but at the same time, the fact that Wanda was trying to hide it, and like no one else in the universe, there was anything that justifies the fact that they didn't address it.
Yeah. It makes sense. I get why,
Yeah.
but it's just I don't think it made for particularly. I can't speak. a particularly good like watch.
I'll tell you the thing. Okay, the thing that bothers me the most, even to do with the show, but it's to do with the fact that Wanda faced zero consequences at the end. Like, she was obviously the biggest. She was more of a villain than Agatha, 100%. She literally had an entire town mind captured in their own minds. Like, they couldn't even sleep and dream their own dreams or anything. Like, those people will have PTSD for the rest of their life.
Yeah, my favorite part about that was when Vision goes to the end of town and there's that woman just pretending to hang laundry up, and she can do nothing other than shed tears. And
yeah,
like, oh no,
it was so riveting. Yeah, but yeah, like, she faced zero consequences, and she just surely, if she was going to have a proper redeeming ending, she would turn herself in. But no, she just away to go film Doctor Strange.
Instead, she makes the villain go through all of that.
Yeah. The villain. Okay, the villain wasn't the only victim that the villain really put her only impact the villain really had was on Wanda. Like, Agatha didn't really do anything bad to any of the town folk or anything. Anyway,
other than wasn't already being done.
Also, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the song where it says it was Agatha all along, because it wasn't Agatha all along, it was Wanda all along. It's like two things.
Yeah, Agatha did a few of these things that you were already doing. She just changed the way they happened. But no, you held the town hostage, Wanda. I like Monica Rambeau as well. Like, I would have done the same thing in your shoes. Would you? Would you? And would that have justified? Like, just because you would have done it doesn't make it right.
No. And whenever she said, "I'll never know what you just gave up for them," I mean, she gave up imaginary friends, basically.
I was gonna say that. Imaginary friends.
Yeah, these are people she had captured for, I don't know what the time was, like whether it was weeks or whatever, but these people had families, and their families were also captured, like their kids.
Yeah.
It was whenever she freed that one woman, and she was just like, "Please, just let me know that my child is okay." Like, that really hit hard, because it's like,
let her come out of her room. Can she be a part of these weird TV shows you're putting together?
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
And I get that there is an element too that Wanda herself didn't have full control over it, because she didn't realize this, like, especially to that extent, she didn't realize that stuff was happening. But she did. She had enough control to, like, reverse time on the beekeeper guy.
That's what I didn't understand as well. There was a lot of kind of back and forth. Is this Wanda, or is it something Wanda can't control? But from the one scene where she just walked out, she had her accent on again, she was wearing the jackets, and she just said to, like, the sword agents, "Is this yours?" and just threw the drone. That just had me convinced that she had as much control as she possibly needs to control the people in there.
Yeah.
Like,
that was a great scene. Like, it was at that point, at that scene where she mind controls all the agents to turn their guns on the director. I was like, they should just make her the villain.
Yeah,
they should have just.
I'd be fine with that. Yeah. Like, making it's pretty creative, just completely turning a hero backwards like that. It's interesting.
But it's one of those things that Marvel do in a cinematic universe in the scale that they're never going to commit to something like that.
Yeah.
Not to that extent, anyway. Like, we'll see it with someone, I'm sure, but it's like the comics. There's a status quo that has to be maintained, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A pity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the finale, I feel like it was kind of rushed in the fact that it was just all fight scenes, just classic Marvel action. I mean, I think in a way I would have been okay with it just being Wanda as main villain, and like Wanda then fixing it herself in the end, or whatever, without throwing in Agatha, and it just kind of being more of a mental battle at the end.
Well, because with Vision at the same time.
Yeah,
I guess.
kind of.
So the thing, I kind of thought that whole big goodbye to Vision at the end. I was just expecting, oh, by the way, your actual boyfriend is out there somewhere, and then just vanishing. By the way, forgot to tell you, I kind of like reinstalled all that guy's memories.
Yeah, it's like yeah, he just doesn't tell her. He's like,
yeah,
he's gonna figure out someday. You'll have to like reprogram the emotions in, but I figure you'll figure. You know, well, she did it to him. So like, if Wanda got her hands on the White Vision or whatever, she'd probably just like give him a little bop in the head, and that'd be him sussed.
Yeah. In theory.
In theory, in this weird magic universe.
What? I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I love the fact too that they have their whole mind battle, and Vision's like, "Oh, is a ship really a ship if it's not a ship or whatever?" And
I love that.
Then,
that was the best scene in the finale, I think.
But
yeah,
I like how like the corpse, the White Vision, he gets all his memories back, and he's sitting there like, "Are you the real Vision?" And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm not, but you're kind of not." But whatever imaginary Vision says to him that makes it click, he doesn't even respond. He just dips. He just flies off. You know, just immediately. Nice to see you.
Well, he's got to process all this new information.
That's true.
He's got a hefty processor.
I was thinking that battle was going to be, I'm not the real Vision, you're the real Vision, and then he just like self-destructs or something.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. The thing I just liked most about the finale and the way everything just ended was Wanda put a spell on I can't remember what they're called, but the thing where you can only cast your own magic within that zone. She didn't learn it though. Yeah, she didn't learn that. She
saw it happen. It's fine.
Yeah. She is supposed to be the most powerful sorceress in the world, universe, galaxy, whatever.
She's a Scarlet Witch, which means it can, just ride around her problems. It's basically her best superpower.
Exactly.
It's the Superman of the comic books. It's the writer will give him whatever needs to be to write him out of the situation. Needs a new superpower? Yeah, he just always had it. Don't worry about it, mate.
Never.
But no, I thought it was pretty cool, but also I kind of see it coming.
Also, kind of leaves the question where she put the spell on Agatha, like putting her in that Colm role in the end, but then she took away the entire hex. So does that mean that she took away the spell she put on Agatha?
I think that was something to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it was. I was just gonna say I'm gonna have to head on soon, but
no problem.
No, it was a good show. I mean, it was worth the watch. It was worth the ride.
Yes, I agree.
I really
it's all out there now. You can just binge it if you're going to be watching.
Probably the best way to watch it, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. Yeah,
maybe
the best way to watch it. Because also, if you wait too long in between, then you're going to just start theorizing everything and then just guessing what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to bring this up. The fan theories around the show were pretty wild.
I was just about to say, we're saying all this after we've just spoiled everything, so they're not going to get to the stage and be like, oh.
No, that's true. Again, if you care, you've seen it. So
yeah. I only read the fan theories actually after I finished it, and yeah, they were pretty wild. Like, apparently, everyone thought Mephisto was going to be the big.
I am happy to say that I was not a member of that particular herd of sheep.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I was on board with all the rest.
I was really hoping for John Krasinski to show up. I knew he wasn't, but like I just loved every episode. They were like in the outside where they were going to introduce a new character. Like Monica Rambeau was like, I have an astrophysicist friend, and then Jimmy Reed's like, or Jimmy Reed, Jimmy Woo was like, I have a guy down here and he's an inspector and he can. And you're expecting one of these people to be somebody, but then they're just generic military personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this random astrophysicist wearing multicam. Like, I've got this tank rover you needed.
Also, what exactly is swords? Like, are they as big as shields, or just not as big as shields, or are
In
they
the
going to be?
comics, if I remember correct, I could be wrong at this stage. I had a time pat while I was watching the show, but in the comics, I think they're like the extraterrestrial version of Shield. Sam?
Ah,
I think so as well. I don't know a whole lot about them in the comics either.
No, I know that they're like Shield and Hammer. They're a government thing that do their thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
there's 20 of those, abbreviation that all sound cool.
Yeah.
Sentient World Observation and Response Department. So yeah, it's like space and orbiting and yeah.
Okay. They weren't mentioned before in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, were they?
Not from memory.
I
Not that
also
I ever noticed.
I mean, I know this is just like talking about it too much, but it's funny how no one else thought, oh, that town just isn't there except for swords. Like no member of the public, no other government organization was like whenever there were people outside the hex, it was just sword. There wasn't a whole public speculation of people trying to get in or out or anything. I guess it's pretty desolate anyway.
It was a pretty small town,
Yeah.
and obviously everyone that currently lives there is, taken care of because they're in the hex. And then I reckon like the other relatives, I just don't have contact with. That Sword probably just like told them like, yeah, just keep it down. Maybe they paid him off even.
Point. Yeah. I think that's. I think we've said all we really need to say about that. It's a pretty good show.
I mean, all I say is I was disappointed that they got Evan Peters only for a boner joke.
100%. Yeah, they really missed a lot of opportunities there as well, because they could have just expanded, used that as a X-Men opening, I guess, to bring in other multiverse people, and kind of patch up holes and stuff. Maybe we might get to see more of that in Doctor Strange though. I'm kind of hoping we will.
I hope so as well.
I think so too, because at the very last post credit scene, you see Wanda and she's astral projecting or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And she's looking through a book or whatever, and you hear the voices of her kids crying out. So obviously they're trapped in some dimension, or she pulled them out of another reality.
Spider-Verse.
Maybe they're both Peter Parkers from different Spider-Verses.
Yeah.
That'd be a twist.
Mary Jane! Ah! It's a Tobey Maguire scream.
Just Kirsten Dunst screams.
Yeah. Another show I'm really looking forward to is What If. You guys have heard much about that? The animated one.
I'm not hyped.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah.
No, it's about. So.
Oh yeah, no, I know like what they're gonna be doing with it, but I don't really care. If it's gonna be like, oh hey, this is what didn't happen in the Marvel universe, and it's like, cool. Okay.
I guess. Yes.
I see why people would like it. It's not something that I'll enjoy watching it, but I'm not gonna get excited for it.
For me, I'm just worried they're gonna have a really, really cool idea. I'm just gonna be like, dang, that's better than what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay.
that might ruin a movie or two for me. So I'm
or the whole universe.
Yeah.
Oh, what if Tony didn't become Iron Man? Damn, that would have been so much cooler.
I was just talking to Sam too that Marvel missed a few opportunities in movies where like they could have done some really cool stuff with Captain America between Civil War and Infinity War.
Yeah.
Where they had the Secret Avengers, because in the comics, for a long time that was a whole thing, and like Captain America and Black Widow were two of the members.
Yep.
And they were just out there cracking heads with Falcon, and it's like, well, that probably would have been a better movie to see than, I don't know, I would have traded either of the Ant-Man movies to see that.
Me too.
Just put it that way.
I also would trade Captain Marvel personally, but
that's a real nothing film, isn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, also, what's the story behind Monica Rambeau's powers exactly?
Sam, you got this one because I don't.
I've no clue.
Just kind of
She
the air
just got
thing.
from the hex,
Yeah, but
I think.
we don't really know what they are, do we? She just lived through some bullets and defied spells.
I'm sure they're the same as what they are in the comics or whatever, but I'm not familiar with the character.
Me neither.
But
Sadly.
neither mind. Okay.
I like the fact that at the very end of the show, because the director isn't actually all that evil, he really is doing what the government should.
Yeah.
In
It
his
really
situation.
made him out to be a bad guy.
Like, really, the only reason that they made him out to be, like, he just shot at some kids in the last episode. And it's like, before
if
that,
he didn't do that, he'd probably be like, oh.
if he didn't do that, he was kind of mean or whatever, but he didn't do anything like morally wrong.
Yeah.
Like he rebuilt a machine, and people were like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." And then it was like, "Well, I'm going to shoot at these kids now with a Glock that I have 5 bullets loaded into." Apparently,
Yeah, he was an asshole, but like his character wasn't a bad guy.
no, if anything, he was the only one trying to fix things for a long part of the show.
It's true.
In fairness, his response is to like, if we can just shoot one in the head. Yeah, that would have.
Yeah.
Look, that's how that would be dealt with in real life.
I mean, she was not complying with them at all. They tried talking and it didn't work. So.
Yeah, in reality, the second she stepped out of that hex, they probably all should have just opened up on her. Just treated her as a threat, and like now they have a shot on a hostage taker, and none of the hostages are behind her. They could have just started like mag dumping her, and that would have been it. Well, the further we keep talking about this, the more we're just pulling up plot holes of like how they do it.
I don't think that would have worked because her powers are just too strong for that.
Whatever they need to be, yeah. Well, is she fast enough to stop a bullet though?
Definitely.
Like if she walks out, you think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd say so.
All we know, she could have had an invisible force field around her as soon as she left the hex.
That's true.
That's true. And also, I feel like she has kind of spider sense.
I don't know. I mean, until I see it. But at the same time, I don't know. I've always thought that she was like mostly a normal person, except for the power she had. Like physically, if she got in a fist fight with someone, she'd be Elizabeth Olsen. But it's the red. It's the red magic that keeps. No, she doesn't. But what I'm saying is, it's the red magic that keeps her on her feet. But if you threw something at her hard enough and fast enough that she can't like respond to it, it'd be the same as me catching a bullet.
Yeah, but if you're confronting like what was that, 10 to 15 soldiers pointing guns at you, I'd create a force field.
Okay, yeah. No, in fairness,
sounds right.
Yeah, you'd be pretty thick to walk out into that.
Yeah.
At the same time, I am surprised they didn't just drop her on the spot.
Well, yeah. I don't know, like we said, I too wish that they would have just gone for the full-on evil approach.
Yeah.
I
think so.
In the end, but
yeah, they could have left it as she's evil, but she let the people free or something, or she's like heavily conflicted more so than they left her off to be. And then in Doctor Strange, she has her redeeming arc. I feel like we won't see as much of redemption side to her in Doctor Strange.
No, she's just going to be a fugitive again.
Yeah.
I think a great ending to this would have been that the government just decides to back off because they realize they have nothing to deal with this, and they're like, well, this town is hers now, that's something's worse. I think that would have been great. And then Doctor Strange has to go deal with it.
Yeah.
The cliffhanger, and then it plays the big Marvel intro, and then it ends.
Yeah. Imagine like that was the episode they bring John Krasinski in, and he's just looking at it. Yeah, I got none. Wrap it up, boys. Time to go to Mars. Someone call Elon, because this planet is doomed.
Yeah. Something I will add, like closing thoughts, I suppose.
Yep.
I don't mind this as much in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the show, but the 10 minutes of credits when it's a half an hour episode, only 20 minutes, which is
Sam.
the actual episode, is annoying.
I agree.
And
there was a point to it, but it was very annoying when the credits were 10 minutes long and you thought you were getting a half hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that it's a big studio and there's lots of people to thank, but yeah. Quite.
The point of the 20 minutes was because they were trying to get that sitcom feel. They wanted to go with the 22-minute episodes, like all the sitcoms were. But that's a reason, but it doesn't make it less annoying.
Here's the thing: all of those sitcoms have ad breaks in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized I forgot to make my Captain America joke. I'll have to wait till next week.
Want to make it now?
No,
make
I
it
can't
now
make
to end us.
Closing.
I can't. No, I can't make it
joke?
now. No, I can't because it's just me saying it's not a joke. It's just me saying a thing in conversation. I'll just have to say it next time it's brought up.
It will never be brought up again. This is the last time.
We're gonna actively not bring it up.
No, I think it's pretty hard not to.
Jordan will be like, "Guys, I have a joke." We'll be like, "Anyway."
No, it's not. No, I can bring it up. It's fine, just not now. This is annoying me.
No, we're gonna talk Snyder cuts next week instead of Captain America stuff. Just to not talk Captain America.
I will quit the podcast. I swear.
Snyder. I thought we could go this whole week without saying Snyder, but no.
Yeah,
you brought it up.
Yes, it's your fault.
I didn't regret it because Jordan's gonna bring up equally a joke, I'm sure.
It's man, I did enjoy watching Snyder.
The build up to this joke is going to go on for weeks, and we're going to make it out to be the best thing ever.
I hope it does.
And then if Jordan ever gets a chance to actually say it, which he won't,
don't laugh.
It'll be terrible because it's terrible.
It might be really good, but we're just not going to laugh.
That would be a total girl boss move of you if you didn't laugh. A total girl boss move.
We'll cough.
Good or bad?
It depends what you think of girl bosses, I guess.
I'm indifferent.
Fair. So it's just to close, one of the funniest things Sam's ever said to me was we were talking about the Cruella de Vil trailer.
Yeah.
By talking about it, I mean Sam sent it to me and he included the text. Hey, what if this woman that murdered 100 puppies for a jacket was actually a total girl boss?
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said. I laughed for like a minute.
I mean, that's what the trailer looks like.
It does, doesn't it?
Another.
Anyway, you wanna wrap us up, Colm?
Yeah. So thanks for listening again. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you in more podcasts. Listening in.
This is the last one. We just don't come back next week. That's also fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me. Thanks from Jordan. Thanks from Sam.
Goodbye.
Big kisses.
Evening, good afternoon, and good night. That's not right. Bye.